cutting McGee. Right into Green. McGee's got his own miss. Tried to spin, stripped to the ball by Curry. Here comes a great pass to Durant, who tomahawks it home.
The goal of basketball is to put the ball in the basket. However, throughout basketball history, the most effective methods for doing that have changed dramatically. Statistics, film study, and analytics have provided teams with new ways of seeing the game, resulting in drastic changes. In this series, I will be analyzing the top offensive team in each of the last 7 years, breaking down what systems and players helped them to achieve success, as well as how offense has evolved in order to hopefully answer the question, what makes an offense great in the modern NBA? It's the 2009 NBA Draft, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are on the clock. They own both the number 5 and number 6 overall picks in the draft, and were looking to draft a point guard to pair with their young star center, Al Jefferson. In fact, they were so keen on drafting a point guard that they drafted 2 point guards back-to-back with both of their picks. Ricky Rubio out of Spain at number 5, and Johnny Flynn out of Syracuse at number 6. With the number 7 pick, the Golden State Warriors took the greatest point guard to ever play the game.
The Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College.
Stephen Curry was no stranger to doubters. In high school, he was ranked a 3-star recruit. He wasn't given an offer by any of the traditional NCAA powerhouses, so he chose to go to Davidson, a local school that had just 1,700 students in 2006. In 2008, he led Davidson to a magical NCAA tournament run, upsetting Gonzaga, Georgetown, and Wisconsin before losing by 2 points to eventual champions Kansas in the Elite Eight, leading the nation in points per game with 28.6 in the process. Despite this effort, he was still overlooked in the draft for 2 main reasons. Firstly was his size and stature. The greatest players of all time were either 6'9" or taller, like Magic, Bird, Chamberlain, Kareem, and LeBron, or freak athletes like Michael Jordan. Even a smaller guard like Allen Iverson was a great athlete and had a game based around getting to the rim. With guards like Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook being drafted the previous year, it was only natural to be concerned about Curry's physique. Comments from scouts in the 2009 draft process included, not a great finisher at the rim due to his size and physical attributes, body is on the small side, short arms and a lack of great natural body strength, doesn't like when defenses are too physical with him, and needs to add muscle to his upper body, but appears as though he will always be skinny. Secondly was his style of play. Despite playing the point guard position, Curry was not your traditional point guard. Curry's game was based around his outside shot. He would often sprint around screens off the ball before firing a 3, or simply pull the trigger from way outside in isolation. Players of this mold had existed before, guys like Reggie Miller and Ray Allen, but they would play shooting guard. Another player would bring up the ball while they would run around off the ball looking for open 3-point attempts. At 6'3", Curry was too small to play shooting guard, so he would play point guard. Point guards at the time were expected to be very basic and fundamental. They are known as the coach on the floor, or the floor general, and they are tasked with taking care of the ball and setting up the offense. They were not expected to lead the league in scoring, something no point guard had done since the merger before Curry, and they were definitely not expected to take upwards of 10 threes a game. There was a stigma against teams that relied solely on jump shooting, with Charles Barkley famously saying in 2015, "I don't like jump shooting teams. I don't think you can make enough jumpers to win 4 series in a row." I've said that for 25 years, not just now. I think you can physically manhandle them inside. We all know how that turned out. In 2015, the Golden State Warriors won the NBA championship, with Stephen Curry named League MVP, breaking the all-time record for most threes in a season. In 2016, Curry became the first unanimous MVP in NBA history, becoming the first player in NBA history to lead the league in both points per game and true shooting percentage, and breaking his own 3-point record in the process. The success of Curry's Warriors revolutionized basketball. 3-point attempts in the NBA spiked after Curry's MVP, as teams rushed to replicate the Warriors' success. It was the greatest tactical shift in basketball since the invention of the shot clock. However, those doubts from the scouting reports had some truth to them. Curry was not exceptionally strong or athletic. He was too small to play shooting guard, but he wouldn't be the floor general at point guard. His unique style required a perfect system in order for him to succeed. In 2014, Jerry West was working for the Warriors as a consultant. The Warriors were considering trading their young shooting guard, who was averaging just 18 points per game at the time, for All-NBA power forward Kevin Love, who was averaging 26 points and 12 rebounds per game. As the story goes, West was so opposed to this trade that he threatened to quit the organization if the Warriors did it. That young player was Klay Thompson. Thompson was another three-point sniper who specialized in his off-ball movement. Like Curry, he was constantly in motion off the ball, whether it be cutting towards the basket or running around screens at the perimeter. The two of them wreaked havoc on defenses, their constant movement and outside shooting threat leading to frequent panic and miscommunications. Klay holds the NBA record for most threes in a game, with 14 in 2018, as well as the most points in a quarter, with 37 in 2015. However, there was no better showcase of Thompson's game than a matchup in December of 2016 against the Indiana Pacers. In that game, Thompson famously put up 60 points on 11 dribbles. This game proved the power of off-ball movement in the NBA, as Thompson sliced up the defense by constantly sprinting around screens or cutting backdoor to the basket. Klay's movement and shooting threat were often used by the Warriors to distract defenses while running plays for Curry. The opposite was also true, as defenses were often so preoccupied with guarding Steph that Klay would be left wide open. Both players exemplified each other's strengths, as defenses would divert all of their attention to stop one of them, often leaving the other one wide open in the process. In the 2015-16 NBA season, Curry and Thompson led all guards in points off cuts and led all players in three-pointers made, making the Splash Brothers by far the greatest off-ball duo to ever play the game. We've established that while Curry was clearly a generational player, there were some flaws in his game that needed to be catered to. Notably, Curry's size forced him to play point guard, but he primarily operated off the ball, like a shooting guard. Thompson, like Curry, was a primarily off-ball player. Thus, in order for an offense centered around the Splash Brothers to be successful, the Warriors needed a bigger player to operate as the playmaking hub of the offense. In the 2012 NBA Draft, the Warriors found their man. Selected with the 35th overall pick in the draft out of Michigan State, Draymond Green was an intriguing prospect. Green had been named 2012 Big Ten Player of the Year, with scouts describing him as an unselfish and timely passer and someone with high basketball IQ. He made those around him better, possessing a sense of maturity and leadership qualities. However, much like Curry, Green was also criticized for his unorthodox playing style, as scouts were unable to pinpoint what his exact role in the NBA would be. Scouts called him a tweener, claiming he was undersized for a physical forward but lacking the athleticism of a wing. He was just one of those great college players that doesn't excel at any one particular area and thus had minimal upside in the NBA. However, with Green, Curry and Klay had the perfect partner to unlock their skill sets. While they would cut off the ball, Green would act as the floor general, using his strong passing and leadership qualities to dictate the flow of the offense. From 2016 to 2019, Green finished with the most assists out of any power forward in each and every year. In essence, Draymond played like a big point guard, while Curry played like a small shooting guard, making them the perfect fit. Off the ball, Green was the ultimate hustler, a true pest for opponents. He is one of the greatest defensive players of this generation, leading the league in steals and winning Defensive Player of the Year in 2017. His combination of great defense and great passing led to a lot of Warriors' fast breaks. Additionally, he is famous for his use of illegal screens, grabbing players and moving around while setting screens to help his teammates get wide open shots. He is a true hustle player and does all the little things that can lead to winning basketball. There is one stat that exemplifies this more than any other: plus minus. It's an NBA stat which measures team performance when a player is on the court versus off the court. Essentially, it is an objective measurement of the impact a player has on their team. The players who have the highest single-season plus-minus are among the greatest players of all time, including Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Stephen Curry. However, standing alone in first place was Draymond Green's season in 2016, making that, by this measure, the most impactful season a player has had in NBA history. Green played a crucial role in arguably the greatest offensive system the league has ever seen. In 1996, the Chicago Bulls had the greatest regular season in basketball history. The Bulls went an absurd 72-10 behind Michael Jordan, who was returning from his baseball hiatus. However, it's the Bulls' seventh man in their rotation that is crucial to this story. Steve Kerr was a three-point specialist. He shot an absurd 52.4% from 3 in 1995 and 51.5% in 1996. He still holds the NBA record for highest career three-point percentage by any player ever, with 45.4% for his career. When he was hired as coach of the Warriors in 2015, it was the perfect fit. Kerr recognized that it was easier to get open when you didn't have the ball than when you had it. This was because if you had the ball, you needed to dribble around your opponent to get open, whereas if you didn't, you could freely sprint around to lose your man before receiving a pass and getting a wide open shot. Being a shooter himself, Kerr allowed Curry and Thompson the freedom to shoot that he never had. Not only would they be spotting up, but now they had the green light to run around and shoot on the move. One play the Warriors often utilized were off-ball screens. The offense consisted of Draymond bringing up the ball as the point guard, while Curry and Thompson sprinted around screens trying to get open. The Warriors have led the league in points off screens every year of the Steve Kerr era, with the Splash Brothers unsurprisingly ranking first and second in the league in points off these plays. When teams tried to overplay their three-point attempts, Warriors players could cut back door for easy layups. From 2017 to 2019, the Warriors ranked first in the NBA in points off cuts every year. The Warriors would often use a small ball lineup, with Draymond Green as both the largest player and the ball handler, allowing them to field 4 mobile cutters and shooters, buzzing around the ball for him to pick out. In their first season under Kerr in 2015, the Warriors posted a 110.6 offensive rating, second in the NBA. The Warriors went on to lead the NBA in offensive rating in 4 of the next 5 seasons. This groundbreaking offense resulted in a historic season in 2016, with Kerr's Warriors famously going 73-9, breaking the Bulls' record for greatest regular season in history. Their 114.5 offensive rating ranked them 11th all-time. However, despite the Warriors' clear off-ball ability and their transition proficiency, there was still a weakness in their offensive game. One more piece needed to be added before the Warriors could truly be considered the greatest offense of all time. In the 2016 NBA Finals, the Golden State Warriors choked. Not only were they the reigning champions, who had just beaten the Cavaliers the previous year, they were also coming off the greatest regular season in NBA history. The Warriors rushed out to a 3-1 lead over the Cavaliers, a deficit that had never been overcome in an NBA Finals before. However, the Warriors spectacularly lost 3 games in a row, losing the series in 7 games. The question is, why did that happen? Rewatching the final minutes of Game 7 versus the Cavaliers, we found our answer. With 3 minutes 30 left in the game, we see Draymond Green in his normal point guard role leading the offense. Around him, the Warriors run their motion as they have done successfully all season. However, when nothing seems to be open, Green feeds Clay, who takes a contested fadeaway mid-range jumper that misses. With 1 minute and 20 seconds left and the game tied, we see Steph Curry take a step-back 3 with 16 seconds left on the shot clock, contested in isolation by Kyrie Irving, which he misses badly. And finally, with 45 seconds left, right after Kyrie scored his famous sidestep 3, Curry gets a switch onto Kevin Love and gets stonewalled 1v1 for 15 seconds before missing another 3. In 3 separate possessions, we see that when the Warriors did not go to their classic motion offense, they did not have a reliable backup plan. They were predictable. In addition to their all-time great off-ball movement, the Warriors needed an on-ball weapon that they could rely on when their motion got shut down and they were forced to play one-on-one. So in the offseason, they signed Kevin Durant. Earlier in this video, there was a graph showing how in 2016, Curry became the first player in NBA history to lead the league in points per game and true shooting percentage. Revisiting that graph, we see that in 2016, second place in both categories was Kevin Durant. However, he got his baskets very differently from most other players. With most elite scorers in the NBA, they have 1 or 2 signature moves that you can point to that they will rely on to score most of their points. With Curry, it's his off-ball 3, with LeBron James, it's his drive to the basket, and with James Harden, it's his step-back 3. Kevin Durant, by contrast, is the most well-rounded scorer in NBA history. Durant is a 3-level scorer, meaning he can score from inside the paint, from the mid-range, and from the three-point line. In Durant's 3 seasons as a Warrior, 31.3% of his field goal attempts were within 10 feet, 38% were between 10 feet and the three-point line, and 30.7% were from three-point range. This overwhelmingly diverse shot chart made Durant extremely unpredictable to guard, especially when compared to other elite players like Curry, LeBron, and Harden. However, Durant was not just diverse. He was also one of the most accurate players in the league. In his 2017-18 season, his most efficient as a Warrior, Durant made 72% of his shots at the rim, 50% of his mid-range attempts, and 42% of his three-point attempts, as he became the first player in NBA history to rank in the 90th percentile for field goal percentage in each area of the court. Durant had an even mix of on-ball and off-ball contributions, as in 2019, 49.9% of Durant's field goal attempts were assisted and 50.1% were unassisted, meaning he could fit seamlessly into the Warriors' off-ball motion offense while also providing an exceptional on-ball threat that the Warriors previously did not have. He was the perfect player to complete the Warriors' offense and make them truly unstoppable. Durant won back-to-back Finals MVPs in 2017 and 2018. His versatility and unpredictability as an on-ball threat solved the Warriors' only issue, combining with their established off-ball movement to create arguably the greatest offense of all time. In 2017, the Warriors went 16-1 in the playoffs, tying the greatest playoff record of all time. The next year, in 2018, they swept the Cavaliers 4-0 in the finals, and in 2019, they broke the 1987 Lakers record for the best offensive rating ever. Stephen Curry's absurd shooting, Draymond Green's unique passing, Klay Thompson's off-ball movement, and Kevin Durant's versatile scoring complemented each other in a way that had never been seen before and we may never see again, forming the most efficient, most unstoppable, and greatest offense in NBA history.
Prevent that ball from coming into him.
Finney-Smith to inbound. Back to Doncic. Doncic pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Doncic wins the game at the buzzer! Let's go!